Hi, my name is Rik Pfenninger. I'm a media composer. And today I want to talk about using live musicians for recording projects, especially remotely. I live in rural New Hampshire. In this case example I'll use today is I had a violinist I work with was not available. So I reached out to a site in Melbourne, Florida, which I highly recommend. I'm not being paid to tout them, but I will put a link down below. And just using just a single violin in your tracks, a live musician can really bring it to life. So today I want to talk about how to prep for that, how to make their lives easier, how to make your lives easier, and get a quick turnaround time on things. So hopefully this will help. Okay, I'll play two small snippets of this. And you can see I have the violin track right here, the audio track. So I will play them and you can listen to the violin, and I'll talk about how I went about doing this. It's just one of 4 tracks that I submitted to her. So we'll give it a listen. Okay, as you can see, this is a lead sheet that I prepared. And first thing you want to do up at the top is make sure that you include the recording info, what kind of files you want. So here I've included the file type, bit depth, and sample rate. The other thing you want to include is the tempo. And how I've set this up is I actually put there's 4 cues here. I put them all on one lead sheet. And if you don't know how to read music, yes, it's possible to export files from your DAW. Just make sure that you quantize them. But my advice to you is learn how to read music. It's not that difficult. And I know I do a lot of recordings, and I demand a lead sheet because 99% of the time I could read it down in one take, and I don't have to worry about wasting time, wasting your time, charging you more money. So in this case, as you can see, here's cue number 1. I've included 96 beats. You'll see in the next part of this that I'll share, I have 2 bars of intro, a fade in, and a click track going into this. So this person can read this down, and then it stops, and then there's cue number 2, which is Spellbound Dreams, etc., etc. This is the one that you listen to. So again, a 2-bar click, tempo 76, going right into it. And I put a little note here. The cellist, when I recorded this, anticipated the downbeats a bit. Just a word of warning. And I go through all different cues, including the tempo and the clicks. So that's the lead sheet that I send out to the performer. So pretty short, but make sure you at least include, this much information. So now let's listen to the logic. I'll show you the logic file that I included with this. All right, here's the logic file that I prepared for the violinist to play along with. And if you'll notice, I have all my cues right in a row. And what I've done is I have metronome turned on. and I have it click, and then I have it fade in to the cue. Here's the recording starts. Then at the end, I have it fade out. Then I have another bar that's empty with a click, and it goes into the next cue with a new tempo. And if you notice that under information, the event, I've included the tempo marking. So if I go to there's a marker for each of the numbers, each of the names. There's a tempo for each of the names, and there's a time signature because some of the time signatures change. But it's always make sure you have the metronome on. Obviously, if you're doing this in Logic, or you don't have to use. Obviously, you can use whatever DAW you want. You can send this, if they work in Logic, even better. You can just send this Logic file, or you can bounce it down to a stereo audio track, which is what I did for this violinist. Then I imported, that's the other thing you want to make sure that you tell this person who's doing your recording that you would like, if they can, send a dry version and a reverb version of the recording. So if you see the dry violins at mono track, and the reverb is a stereo track. So when I unmute this, you can hear it with the recording. And same with the wet. And I find it's usually a good idea to combine the wet with the dry version. So it's nice to have two versions. Or if you don't like the reverb that the person's using, you can set up your own reverb on the dry track. Then you just incorporate this into your, import it into your DAW and use it with your tracks. That's about all I want to talk about. So that hopefully this will help you, make this a little smoother. Like I said, the link is down below for the company that I used, whose name is escaping me now, but it's down below. And love to hear your comments on this. Hopefully this helped.